Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we delve into Humanly Possible by Sarah Bakewell, a 2023 publication that explores the significant influence of humanism in literature and science throughout history. This enlightening book traces the lineage of great humanist thinkers and their impact on our understanding of humanity today. Through poignant narratives, Bakewell illustrates how we can forge deeper relationships with our lives and our environment through humanist beliefs and pursuits. Sarah Bakewell, a professor of creative writing and an award-winning author of titles such as How to Live and At the Existentialist Cafe, brings her expertise in examining the profound thinkers and intellectual currents that have shaped our world. Her dedication to exploring these subjects makes Humanly Possible an authoritative and engaging read. Humanly Possible is perfect for those who are passionate about the humanities, individuals seeking non-religious approaches to moral thinking, and optimists who believe in the power of human values. This book offers a refreshing perspective on the ways we can enrich our lives in today's world. Tune in to discover how humanism can offer profound insights into the essence of our existence and our interactions with the world around us. Humanly Possible: 700 Years of Humanist Freethinking, Inquiry, and Hope. Introduction. Exploring our humanity through the lens of humanism. The concept of humanism is a profound exploration of what essentially makes us human: our capacity for reason, our inherent dignity, and our potential to create positive impacts in the world. This philosophy, deeply entrenched in history, steers clear of religious foundations, focusing instead on the values and capabilities that distinguish humans. In this fascinating journey, we trace humanism's evolution by delving into the lives and thoughts of some of its most influential proponents over the last 700 years. From the poetic insights of Petrarch to the narrative skill of Boccaccio, the feminist perspectives of Pizan, the scholarly contributions of Erasmus, the reflective essays of Montaigne, the witty criticisms of Voltaire, to the profound narratives of Thomas Mann, each played a pivotal role in weaving the rich tapestry of humanist thought. As we explore their lives and ideas, you'll gain not just historical insights, but an enriched understanding of humanism itself. This may even spark a desire to integrate these principles into your own life, embracing a philosophy that celebrates the best of what it means to be human. Part 1. The Challenge of Defining Humanism in a Modern World. In 2017, a young Pakistani man named Hamza bin Walayat found himself at a crossroads that would test not only his fate, but the understanding of humanism itself. Having lived in Britain for years, Hamza applied for asylum to escape the life-threatening dangers he faced in Pakistan due to his humanist beliefs. However, his asylum interview with the UK's Home Office turned into a confusing ordeal when he was asked to define humanism. Despite explaining it in the context of Enlightenment-era freethinkers, the officials remained unconvinced of his genuineness. This incident highlights a broader issue. Humanism, by its nature, lacks the conventional markers like a flag, creed, or church, commonly associated with organized belief systems. Yet in many parts of the world, including Pakistan, not adhering to officially sanctioned beliefs can attract severe penalties. Humanism encourages a life guided by conscience rather than scripture, a stance that can seem threatening to conservative religious societies. At its heart, humanism champions the essence of what it means to be human: our intrinsic ability to think freely, to question, learn, and cherish the human experiences. Humanists are driven by a vision that celebrates human achievements, whether they be in technology, art, or acts of kindness. Hamza's story, however, does not end at the hurdles of bureaucratic skepticism. It unfolds into a testament of advocacy and change. Humanists UK intervened, advocating for his case, which not only led to a reassessment of his asylum application, but also prompted the Home Office to revise their training for interviewing non-religious asylum seekers, like Hamza. His journey from an asylum seeker to becoming a trustee at Humanists UK encapsulates the resilience and impact of humanist principles. This narrative serves as a poignant reminder of the ongoing relevance of humanism. Throughout history, humanists have influenced our world through contributions to art, science, and ethical thinking. Understanding humanism's rich legacy helps illuminate why it remains essential today, not through organized movements, but through the enduring values that have propelled humanity forward for centuries. Part 2, Rebels with a Cause: How Petrarch and Boccaccio Shaped Humanism. In the 14th century, amidst a backdrop of familial expectations and societal norms, two young men, Francesco Petrarca, known as Petrarch, and Giovanni Boccaccio, ignited a cultural revolution that laid the groundwork for modern humanism. It all started with a typical act of teenage defiance. Both Petrarch and Boccaccio rejected their father's career plans for them. Instead, they pursued their shared passion for literature, marking the beginning of their journey towards becoming pivotal figures in the humanist movement. Their rebellion was not just personal, but also intellectual. Petrarch, frustrated by the loss of historical manuscripts, dedicated his life to recovering texts, believing that preserving the past was crucial for the growth of human knowledge. His home became a sanctuary for these treasures. He even made lists for traveling friends so they could help expand his precious collection. Boccaccio, the storyteller, became famous for his literary masterpiece, the Decameron, a collection of tales that paints a vivid picture of life during the Black Death. His narratives not only entertained but also preserved the human dimensions of experiences during the plague. Both men lived through the devastating waves of the bubonic plague, witnessing its brutal impact on human life. This era deeply influenced their writings, particularly evident in Petrarch's heartfelt letters, where he shared historical grief manuscripts and extended empathy to his correspondents, mirroring the emotions of his time. The contributions of Petrarch and Boccaccio are immense, not only in literature but in setting a template for humanism that champions the value of human capacities and reason over doctrinal rigidity. They showed that articulating our human experiences, whether through writing or speech, is invaluable. These intellectuals underscored the importance of communication in studying and understanding the human condition. Their legacies paved the way for future generations of artists, scientists, and scholars who continued to preserve and enrich human achievements. Such was the impact of Petrarch and Boccaccio that they inspired a wave of humanists whose works have continued to influence our understanding of human culture and experiences. Now, as we contemplate their contributions, we also turn to a figure who broke the traditional molds of her time. A female humanist who challenged the gender norms of the scholarly world. Through her story, we will explore another facet of humanism that highlights diversity and inclusion within the philosophical discourse. Part 3, Christine de Pizan, a beacon of female humanism in the Renaissance. In 1984, historian Joan Kelly Goodall posed a provocative question through her paper, "Did Women Have a Renaissance?" The disheartening answer she inferred was predominantly negative. Despite the Renaissance being a period of increased opportunities, societal norms still largely restricted education for women to the basics, favoring male intellectual pursuits. However, amidst this restrictive landscape, a few remarkable women emerged as notable humanists. One such figure was Christine de Pizan, born in Venice in 1364 and later settling in France. Mastering both French and Italian, and potentially Latin, Christine's linguistic skills were a testament to her exceptional early education. Her life took a dramatic turn at 25 when she was widowed and left without any financial support, facing the daunting task of providing for her children and mother. Resolute, Christine turned to writing, earning the patronage of the noble class. Her work spanned various genres, from ethics and politics to poetry, reflecting her intellectual versatility. However, it was the Book of the City of Ladies that distinguished her. This work not only served as an homage to Boccaccio's Decameron, but also as a critical response that highlighted women's capabilities and intellect, positioning Christine as a pioneer in advocating for women's accomplishments. Christine's legacy is complemented by other women of her era who embraced humanistic studies, such as Laura Serreta and Cassandra Fedele. Serreta compiled her letters into literature, echoing Petrarch's style, while Fedele's erudite correspondences earned her a condescending nod from a Medici family tutor, only to be mostly disregarded later. Fedele's resilience led her to become a prioress and, remarkably, at 90, deliver a welcoming speech in Latin to the visiting Polish queen in Venice. These women represented rare but powerful exceptions in a movement that was predominantly male and centered in Italy. Their stories not only challenge the narrative of the Renaissance, but also highlight the slow evolution of diversity in the realm of humanism. As we reflect on these contributions, we see the roots of a broader, more inclusive understanding of humanism that would gradually unfold beyond the Italian borders. Part 4. Kindness as a Cornerstone of Humanism, with Erasmus and Montaigne. In 1480, the Dutch humanist Rudolf Agricola delivered a compelling speech at a school in the Netherlands, urging students to seek education beyond the conventional curriculum and delve into primary sources for a richer understanding of history, philosophy, and poetry. Among the audience was a young Desiderius Erasmus of Rotterdam, whose future as a leading figure in humanism was ignited by this encounter. Erasmus, born in 1466, would grow to despise the cruelty and intimidation he faced in his schooling years, shaping his belief in the inherent peacefulness and loving nature of humans. His writings, which spanned dialogues, theological tracts, and collections of proverbs, often reflected his conviction that human beings were designed for kindness and harmony, as suggested by our physical traits: emotive eyes, embracing arms, and tender bodies suited for a life devoid of violence. His philosophy extended to education and social interaction, advocating for diversity and the fluid exchange of ideas across borders, which inspired the naming of the Erasmus Plus program in 1987, an educational initiative enhancing student mobility within Europe. Parallel to Erasmus's contributions in the Netherlands was Michel de Montaigne in France. Raised with a strong humanistic foundation by his father, Montaigne received a comprehensive Latin education, which informed his later works. Like Erasmus, he was deeply affected by the violence of his time, particularly during the French Civil Wars and the frequent executions for heresy. Montaigne's response was to develop the personal essay, a form that allowed for introspective exploration and a stream of consciousness technique that predated modernist literature. His writings eschewed religious discourse, focusing instead on human things, his way of celebrating life as a divine gift, not to be squandered in self-hatred but cherished and studied. Through their enduring legacies, Erasmus and Montaigne not only advanced the humanist agenda, but also set the stage for the Enlightenment, reshaping centuries of philosophical thought. Their emphasis on kindness, critical inquiry, and the value of diverse perspectives continue to influence contemporary discussions on education and human rights, proving that their ideas about humanism have timeless relevance. Part 5. Voltaire and the call for personal responsibility in the face of disaster. In 1755, Lisbon was devastated by an earthquake, resulting in a catastrophic tsunami and the deaths of approximately 70,000 people. As the news spread across Europe, it sparked profound reflections on the nature of evil and the philosophy of optimism perpetuated by the Church, which posited that the world was created in its best possible form by God. This doctrine suggested that all events, no matter how tragic, were part of a divine plan, and that humanity should accept these occurrences with resignation to God's will. However, The Lisbon disaster prompted a significant shift in thought among European humanists, including the prominent French philosopher Voltaire. Deeply affected by the tragedy, Voltaire penned Candide, a satirical novella that explores the disillusionment of its protagonist, Candide, who is initially a staunch believer in the idea that all is for the best, in the best of all possible worlds. As Candide experiences one calamity after another, his optimism is relentlessly challenged, leading him to question the passive acceptance of suffering. Through Candide's journey, Voltaire criticizes the optimistic philosophy as not only overly simplistic, but also dangerously complacent. It absolves individuals of the responsibility to act and improve the conditions around them. In the climax of the novella, Candide and his companions decide to cultivate their garden, symbolizing a commitment to proactive, tangible efforts to better their immediate environment rather than passively accepting their fate. Voltaire's critique extended beyond literary spheres into the broader philosophical landscape of the Enlightenment. This era saw many humanists adopt deism, which acknowledged a divine creator but rejected continuous divine intervention in the world. This perspective empowered humans to take charge of their destiny and seek practical solutions to worldly problems, whether through safer architectural practices, advances in medicine, or ethical considerations grounded in human empathy rather than divine decree. Thus, the earthquake that shook Lisbon not only altered the physical landscape of a city, but also shifted the ideological grounds of the time, inspiring a movement towards human responsibility and progress. Voltaire's contributions during this period underscore a pivotal moment in humanist thought where the focus turned emphatically towards human agency and the capacity to effect change, marking a significant evolution in the journey towards modern Enlightenment ideals. Part 6. Thomas Mann, Confronting the Shadows of Humanity Through Humanism. In the realm of humanist philosophy, the rigorously optimistic views of earlier thinkers like Erasmus often ignored the darker facets of human nature, a gap that the 20th century's surge in fascism starkly highlighted. This era, marred by the rise of dictators like Hitler and Mussolini, tested the endurance of humanist ideals more fiercely than ever before. It was during this tumultuous time that the German writer Thomas Mann, initially an advocate for the apolitical role of writers, found his convictions challenged. Mann, deeply rooted in humanist thought and acutely aware of its potential blind spots as showcased in Erasmus's writings, began his career with a belief in the separation of art from politics. However, the aggressive anti-humanist measures implemented by fascist regimes, such as the manipulation and stifling of educational content, compelled Mann to reconsider his stance. He began to use his influence and literary talents as weapons against the oppressive political climate of his time. Forced to flee his homeland due to his outspoken opposition, Mann settled in Switzerland and later moved to California in 1941. It was here that he wrote Dr. Faustus and engaged directly with the German public through numerous radio addresses. In these broadcasts, he vehemently encouraged his compatriots to stand against the tyranny and despair enveloping their country and to hold on to hope. Post-World War II, Mann faced another ideological threat in the form of McCarthyism in the United States, prompting his return to Switzerland. This period reflected a seemingly pervasive anti-humanist sentiment worldwide, as illustrated in William Golding's Lord of the Flies, which delved into the depths of human despair and moral decay. In response to the continuous assault on humanist values, 1952 saw the advent of a humanist manifesto by what is known today as Humanists International. Updated in 2022, this manifesto not only reiterated but also expanded on the ethics of humanism, stressing the significance of humanities in fostering societal growth and understanding across diverse cultures. Today, as we face new forms of old adversities, whether in the shape of religious extremism, discrimination, or a disdain for diversity, the spirit of humanism remains resilient. It continually adapts, challenging us to live authentically human lives through inquiry, innovation, connection, and, importantly, an overarching compassion. Thomas Mann's journey and legacy powerfully remind us that the essence of humanism lies not merely in celebrating our strengths, but also in confronting and rising above our vulnerabilities. Final summary. Humanism, a philosophical and ethical stance that emphasizes the value and agency of human beings individually and collectively, has been a guiding light for over 700 years. It champions the qualities that define us as human, our capacity for reason, empathy, and creativity, and urges us to cherish and cultivate these traits. The journey of humanism through the ages is marked by the contributions of many pivotal figures. Petrarch and Boccaccio, pioneers of the Renaissance, demonstrated the profound impact of relentless pursuit and love for knowledge. They remind us that our past, with its rich tapestry of texts and ideas, can illuminate the path forward. Christine de Pizan, an extraordinary woman of her time, challenged the norms and showed that the voice of women is crucial in the discourse of humanism. Her works, especially the Book of the City of Ladies, provide a powerful testament to the capabilities and rights of women in any era. Erasmus and Montaigne, with their kind-hearted philosophies, taught us that the essence of humanism lies in kindness and empathy towards one another. Their writings encourage us to look beyond our hardships and embrace a more compassionate approach to dealing with both ourselves and others. Voltaire, with his sharp wit and incisive satire in Candide, highlighted the importance of acknowledging our ability to improve our circumstances. His critique of passive optimism pushes us to take active roles in shaping a better world. Thomas Mann, navigating through the tumultuous waves of the 20th century, demonstrated the courage to uphold humanist values even when faced with fascism and political persecution. His life and work serve as a beacon for maintaining dignity and integrity in the face of adversity. Together, these historical figures weave a narrative that not only defines what it means to be human, but also challenges us to reflect on how we can continue to uphold these values in our own lives. Through research, expression, kindness, proactive engagement, and resilience, humanism continues to offer a way to navigate our complex world, always reminding us of the profound impact we can have when we live, feel, and act as humans in the fullest sense. As we face new challenges and societal changes, the lessons from these humanist icons remain ever relevant, guiding us towards a more thoughtful, compassionate, and enlightened existence. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.